and the learning materials that we need, and the support that we can give with these resources, the theories behind progressive language learning are probably not massively different. So I would like to talk about some of the supplementary material that we produce to help with the use of dictionaries in the classroom or at home. So again, progressively through the early years right up to the older levels, while we know that dictionaries are a reference tool, you don't learn a language by reading through a dictionary. You learn a language by speaking, by reading books, by watching films, by talking to people, by communicating. But it is a very useful aid. It's a very useful reference tool. However, in the early years, in the classroom, when children are learning a new language, it is quite useful to focus on dictionaries in the classroom and build dictionary skills. So make it part of a lesson, take some time to kind of look at dictionaries. And we know that a lot of teachers do that as part of their teaching practice, as part of their lesson plans. And that's why we, as I was showing you our sort of first dictionary levels, first dictionary, the junior illustrated dictionary, etc., we kind of created worksheets for all of them, which are available for free on our website to download and use in the classroom. They can be printed out in color or in black and white, and they help initially the first level ones with actual alphabetical order skills or dictionary skills, navigating a dictionary. Each of our dictionaries has a kind of how to use a dictionary section right at the start, which highlights all of the different features, which children then can look for. What's a head word? Which one's a part of speech? Where are the inflections given? Where's an example given? What panels are given? It is useful for them to be able to learn how to navigate through the alphabet to look up a particular word. Of course, if you're typing on Google or an online dictionary, that's not needed. But again, it's the sort of difference between using a calculator and actually knowing times tables. You still need those linguistic structures in your head to be able to use language well. So initially in the classroom, it is helpful to have a few sessions getting children to look up words, either just to get them familiar with the dictionary or to get them familiar with using dictionaries as a tool alongside their textbooks or their reading books. And alongside dictionaries, of course, we have thesauruses, because when they're writing and when they're learning to write, one of the challenges is to be able to write fluently and use a wider range of vocabulary, which helps them with their communication, with their writing skills, their self-expression, and of course with getting better marks in an exam. So they do need to use synonyms and not describe everything as nice or big, but be able to use words like beautiful, amazing, fantastic, glorious, and know which context to use them in. Use words like enormous, gigantic, etc. So some of our worksheets are kind of designed to help them look at a dictionary or a thesaurus and try and navigate through the books and use that language. And that gets them used to thinking about language and looking for the right words. And that helps them not only in their English classrooms, but in all of their learning and all of their lessons. A lot of our dictionaries have supplementary materials, so materials where you don't necessarily need every word defined, but you do need this range of words to develop vocabulary, as we were talking about. So in the early years, it would be about all the shapes or learning the names of fruits and vegetables or animals. And again, we have lots of different dictionaries which kind of work either as more sophisticated word books, or we have kind of panels which supplementary material and pages and panels which help them get this information alongside the alphabetical dictionary that they're using. In the older ages, these panels, sort of the school dictionary or the others, they give you a lot more language information, and this helps with language learning and with exam preparation. So confusable words and phrases, when do you use advice and advise with the CE and an SE, prefixes and suffixes, which helps them with word knowledge, with word building, helps with spelling. I have a few examples here of panels in our dictionaries. So etymologies or word origin. So with the word and its definition, we sometimes give etymologies because it helps children to remember difficult words if they know where words come from, and remember and kind of identify other words and help to remember them. So a word like aquamarine, for instance, if they know that the word origin is from Latin, the aqua meaning water, and marine is sea. So then with marine, they will have heard the word used in other places. Aqua, even in India, like aqua is like a common word. If you use aqua guard, it helps you, that sort of water purifier, people have them in their homes. It helps you to connect that the word aqua means water, so something to do with water, and that then helps you to understand this word as a sort of bluish green stone because it's bluish green like the sea, but it also helps you to kind of remember other words. So it's not about children having to necessarily know about every Latin origin or French origin or Anglo-Saxon origins of words. It's more about using it in such a way that helps them to connect to the words and build their language knowledge. And spelling's obviously a lot more kind of obvious. The benefits of having spelling notes, which help them navigate through the dictionary and learn the language. And again, I put out the example of bacteria because, of course, bacteria is the more usual and more well-known word, but it is a plural and not the singular. So when you're writing, it is useful to remember that you shouldn't say, so you shouldn't use kind of singular constructions and say a bacteria, this bacteria. So it is a plural word. So these are the kind of sort of additional information that dictionaries have, and they're useful for teachers to point out or use dictionaries in the classroom and point out or use some of these features to help develop children's word knowledge and knowledge of the language.